Time now for the Woezor TV Reports. Let's take a look at the headlines. Now let's begin. President John Dramani Mahama has called for urgent global action at the One Health Summit in Lyon, where he is serving as co-chair. President Mahama warned that climate change, ecosystem degradation, and plastic pollution are converging to create serious global health threats, with the most vulnerable countries lacking the resources to respond. He urged world leaders to act decisively, calling for fair access to financing, technology, and innovation, and stressing that a healthy and thriving Africa is essential for global progress. Delivering a strong call to action, he emphasized the need to move from commitment to concrete results, integrate One Health strategies into global systems, and build smart, coordinated surveillances and early warning mechanisms to prevent future pandemics.
Are most at risk have the least resources to cope. This must change. The world must face the stark and uncompromising fact that a healthy and thriving Africa is no threat to anyone. It will be a positive force for global progress. We must therefore ensure fair access to financing, technology, data, and innovation. We need to enhance research and knowledge sharing. Additionally, we must support countries in building resilient systems that can prevent, detect, and respond effectively. Although we have frequently discussed this, we have been slow in developing the necessary infrastructure for delivery. Let's muster the political will to integrate our fragmented regulatory environments, and let Lyon be the turning point. Today, however, I wish to make 3 calls to action, and I hope we can all commit to these immediately. First, let us shift from commitment to action. The period of declarations must come to an end. The moment for coordinated effort is here, and let us start from Lyon. Let us connect our One Health strategies for our national development agendas to a new global framework for public health. The international security agenda must fully adopt this approach as a key element of sustainable development worldwide. And thirdly, let us concentrate on building a new preventive shield and an intelligent radar system at its source. Robust surveillance systems, early warning mechanisms, and community-level interventions are our strongest defense against future pandemics. But these must be smart, dynamic, agile, and interoperable, lest we simply add new bureaucracies to old ones. The decisions we make at this summit will shape the future of global health security. And so let us ensure that they result in tangible, measurable outcomes for our people and our planet.
And now the government of Ghana has named Engineers and Planners Limited as a successful bidder for the Damine Gold Mine after a competitive tender process. Out of the 4 companies that applied, only Engineers and Planners and Heath Goldfields Limited met the required criteria, while 2 others were disqualified for failing to submit key documents. After further evaluation, Heath Goldfield did not reach the minimum technical score, leaving Engineers and Planners as the top contender. The company scored 93.15% overall and demonstrated strong financial backing, securing over $500 million in funding. The technical expertise, experience with the mine, and plans to extend its lifespan beyond 10 years ultimately secured the win. Now, To some issues on electricity, the ECG has begun a key major upgrade of power transformers across key substations in Accra, starting with the Maijon substation. The exercise involves the replacement of installation of new transformers to boost capacity and improve power delivery. The company says the upgrade will enhance reliability, stabilize voltage, and support growing demand, although customers within affected areas should expect temporary outages during the period of work. There's more in this report.
The Company of Ghana has begun replacing and upgrading 12 power transformers across 6 primary substations in Accra. The first phase is underway at the Maijon substation, where 2 transformers are being installed, with work expected to be completed within 2 days. ECG says they are increasing capacity at the substation from 20 to 30 megavolt amperes. General Manager for Sub-Transmission Operations in Accra, Francis Kofi Achacha, says the upgrade will improve efficiency, enhance reliability, and ensure stable voltage while preparing the network for new connections.
You know, this place is a fast-growing area, and that's we wants to be very ready anytime that any household, any entity, any company that is ready to connect to power supply will have enough capacity to supply those homes.
He adds that old transformers will be redeployed to support substations operating with only 1 unit. ECG's Acting Director of Communications, Dr. Charles-Ni Aiku, has meanwhile cautioned customers to expect temporary outages during the exercise. Outages, ECG says, will vary by location but will not exceed 6 hours daily.
Of course, there are going to be some disruptions. So for Wednesday, parts of Nana Krom, School Junction, parts of Maijo, parts of Fairhaven, University Farms and surrounding areas. And then that's from 6 a.m. to about 12 p.m. That's 6 hours. And then for East Legon Hills, part of Santor, Borteman and surrounding areas, then parts of Fairhaven, Rojo, Rosso, Lakeside, Community 6, 8, 9, parts of New Legon and surrounding areas, part of East Legon Hills, Soldier Line, ECG Village, Katamanso, Amanfrom, Paradise Estates, Regimanuel, Adum Gate and surrounding areas, Japan Motors, Lakeside Community 1 and 5.
The company says the Maijon installation is costing 34 million Ghana cedis, with about 40% of work completed. The ECG apologizes for any inconvenience caused to the major public. For Woezor TV, Ellen Frimpong.
Now, the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry has held a high-level stakeholder meeting with onion traders from Ghana, Nigeria and Niger to address ongoing cross-border trade challenges. The discussions focus on resolving tensions, improving cooperation and ensuring the smooth movement of goods within the region. At the end of the meeting, Ghanaian onion associations agreed to allow stranded Nigerian trucks to offload their cargo with the assurance of similar action from Nigerian traders. Officials from the Nigerian High Commission also pledged support to facilitate the release of Ghanaian-bound trucks. Stakeholders further agreed to develop a roadmap to prevent future disruptions and promote stronger regional trade relations. Now, also, the Minister for Government Communications, Felix Quartey, has said that LGBTQ plus issues are not a major priority for most Ghanaians, emphasizing that the government remains focused on pressing socio-economic concerns. Responding to the calls by the New Patriotic Party for the National Democratic Congress to apologize over its stance on the LGBTQ plus matters, he questioned why the issue should dominate national discourse when many citizens are more concerned about their livelihoods. Mr. Quartey noted that the realities of daily life make the debate less relevant to the average Ghanaian, stressing that government priorities are centered on job creation, education, healthcare, food security, and access to water.
We're committed to getting that bill passed. And if President Akufo-Addo had signed that bill, if they had not instigated elements to go and purport to file a case to frustrate the process, and the speed with which they caused that bill to be brought back to Parliament, and even added threatening language, telling Parliament never to bring that bill again, is that the posture of a party and government that was willing to sign this bill. They were not. We in the NDC are committed to doing so. President Mahama has said it time and again. If it lands on his desk today, he will sign it today. That is where we are. The NDP, they specialize in wasting the time of everybody. When you woke up this morning, is the first thing that mattered to you LGBT? Was it not about how you are going to live your life today, how you are going to find food to eat, how you will come to work, how to earn a salary, and how to make sure that ends meet? When you come to Ghana today and you list the issues that affect people, is that bill the number one priority of every Ghanaian? It is not. It does not. That it is not something that will address when the time comes. That is what the president said. The president spoke with pointers, and you have the tape of the president when he went to Philadelphia. Indeed, that is the place where he made that statement. In his interactions with the CSOs, he only referenced that statement he had made. That the West and other partners continue to have pressure for this to be done. And he says that as a country, the things that matter the most are the issues that affect the well-being of the Ghanaian. And how does the president saying this mean that LGBTQ is not important? Which president swears an oath to become president, and the thing that matters to him the most is LGBT? It's not about the welfare of ordinary people. How to make sure that education is properly financed, how to make sure that health is properly financed, how to deliver good roads, how to ensure that security is top-notch, how to ensure that electricity, water, job creation for the teeny youth who are unemployed. How can anybody see that these matters are not important? And that if a president says these are his priorities, then he has betrayed anybody. It simply does not make sense.
Time now for some international news. Now, dozens of people have died from floods following heavy rains in recent days in the Angola capital, Luanda, and across areas across the country. Emergency services have reported at least 29 deaths in Luanda and the central city of Benguela, with more than 34,000 people affected. The flooding also damaged thousands of homes and public infrastructure, with damaged roads and bridges, falling trees and electric poles. Of the deaths, most have been reported in Benguela, with 23 deaths and 6 in Luanda. At least 17 people were injured, according to a statement by the Civil Protection and Fire Service on Monday.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Now this brings us to the end of the Woezor TV Reports. I am Karen, now you Quartey. Many thanks for joining us.